Welcome to Pet Sitter Confessional, an open and honest discussion about life as a pet sitter. Today we're brought to you by our friends at Time to Pet and Pet Perennials. Today we are super excited to have Mikayla and Aaron Anders, owners of Adventures in Pet Sitting, on the show to talk about how they got started, how they serve their clients with excellence, and how they continue to push the envelope of what's possible, grow their team, and grow their business as well. Mikayla and Aaron, I am super excited to have you both on the show today. For those who aren't familiar with you or what you all do, could you please tell us a little bit more about yourselves?
I am Mikayla Anders. I'm the founder and head adventure leader here at Adventures in Pet Sitting. My role is to design, oversee, and lead every part of our journey, from developing new services to ensuring every pet receives an enriching, compassionate care.
And I'm Aaron Anders. I am the marketing, and I also do pet sitting as well, but I do a lot of the behind the scenes. I am a professional photographer by trade, and I help assist with the business in all marketing efforts.
Mikayla, I want to touch back on your title, Head Adventure Leader. How did you come up with this title for you in the business?
So I really contemplated this actually a couple of years ago when we started adding employees, as well as we did some rebranding and such. And because we don't do like just dogs or just cats, we do all types of animals. I had to think really hard of something that would connect all of it together. Because, you know, a lot of people do like the alpha leader or something like that when they just do dogs. And so keeping with the concept and theme of my business, I thought that the head adventure leader really connected with that whole aspect.
Kind of ties everything together and kind of displays, again, your role, because it's important to define those roles. Now, how did you both get started in the business, and kind of why was it important to start a dog walking and pet sitting business for you?
So it's kind of a funny story in a way. I originally was not looking at this type of job. I initially graduated from Kansas Wesleyan University here in Salina, and was supposed to be going off and doing tiger conservation. And lo and behold, that wasn't an option in the middle of Kansas. Moving wasn't an option as well at that time. So we really had to strategically think, okay, we just got married. I just graduated. We'll probably be starting a family soon. Like, what can we do? And I worked for a dog sitting company while in school. And Aaron kind of came up with this idea of offering in-home services. And so I did my research as being a biology major. Research is a big deal in that field. And found out that my community actually needed this type of service and stuff. So 3 months of research and looking into what I needed to even start a business, because business was not in my forte. That's actually Aaron's side. And I just kind of like, okay, we'll try it for a year and see how it will work, if it would be something. And, you know, by 2019, it just flew so fast and grew so fast that it became a trusted name through Saline County and the surrounding areas within a 20-mile radius. And since then, we've expanded from solo visits to a fully trained adventure team. We've added new systems, built community partnerships, and we even earned a veterinarian endorsement just a few months ago. So every milestone that we've done from the beginning has been a wonderful adventure for us.
And we both have loved animals and have loved always being around nature. And Mikayla grew up not too far from a zoo, so she grew up being a junior zookeeper, and she did an internship at the Sedgwick County Zoo while she was in college, and also while she was in college worked at a doggy boarding facility and a doggy daycare. So she had the background, and it was kind of my idea. After she had a position with a kennel and as the enrichment coordinator, and she found out right before she was supposed to graduate that position, they gave her a t-shirt and she was all set to go, but the day before she was supposed to start, she was told that there was a family member who wanted her position. So she unfortunately lost that position, and she was really devastated at that point because she thought she had the job and was ready to start. And it was at that point in time where I'm like, well, maybe you should just start your own business. Just, I thought it would give her something to look up to, something to do for a little bit. I didn't have any idea that it would really grow into what it is today.
Now, Aaron, when did you start to become, were you involved with the business from the very beginning, or was that something that came in later?
Well, I was involved from the very beginning. Yeah, like I say, it was kind of my idea mainly to get her focused onto something because she was devastated at that point, and I knew that that would kind of give her an incentive, and I knew she would be great at it. I didn't know, like I say, it was going to really take off like it did. So I have a business administration minor. My major was graphic communications management. So I've been doing photography and business, and I knew it would be a good venture for both of us. I just didn't expect it to really take off like it did.
And he slowly graduated into working more and more into the business.
Sure.
So we kind of kept it separate for a little bit, but then once we realized it was taking off, he got more into, we need a website. Okay, I can create that. Oh, we need photos, we need videos, we need marketing. So he really got into that side of the business because that's not my forte at all. I have the ideas, but he's the one that can put them together.
You said you started with that kind of one year timeline. I mean, was that something that you like? Why was that 1 year important to set when you first started?
It was because to me, we figured we wouldn't know if this would be any good, even though data tells us like our community needed it. We figured if we can see how it goes for 1 year, that would give us a very good insight on if it would be sustainable for us compared to, well, you do it for a month or so. It's like, well, doesn't give you as much data. And it also worked out because within the next few months, we found out we were expecting our first child. So,
So it kind of gave it a little bit more incentive in that instance to really give it some legs and timeline, because the ideas like that, they do take time to get traction. And I know I am really guilty at becoming very, I'm not a very patient person at times, and having to remind myself of that, of, hey, I need to give this time to work. Okay, I posted the thing. I'm starting some marketing efforts. I'm growing my client base. I'm going, like, I need to be okay with this taking 3, 4, 5, 6 months before I can start reaping the rewards of that. So setting that kind of long distance time horizon, I mean, that's really good that we can do in our businesses anytime we change anything or want to start something new or different.
Oh, definitely. I am very similar to you. I'm not a very patient person. I'm learning that kind of the hard way with kids. But I also knew with my biology background, like, data takes time and stuff. So it's like, okay, we got to give it time. But like I said, we expected our first. So it gave me that flexibility to say yes or no and be able to stay home for a little bit rather than trying to dictate at another job. Like, you don't have maternity leave because you're only part-time or whatnot.
When you launched into this, were you like, how did you decide on what services you wanted to start with? And then how have those changed over the years?
So like many small businesses, we started by offering nearly everything, from pet sitting, potty breaks, pet taxi rides, training, and even overnights and nail trimming. But after roughly the third year, we kind of discovered what worked for our community and what fueled our own passion. So over time, we realized that what truly excited us were the adventures. So daily pet sits, pet taxi trips, dog park outings. That's what really fueled our passions for this job. Compared to like training and nail trimming, didn't quite spark that same joy for us. So we decided to retire those services. And then we also started phasing out our overnights, because our community is kind of small. So it wasn't as a high demand as like Kansas City areas and stuff might have a higher demand for overnights. So we decided to phase those out as well. But at the same time, we were starting our family. So me being gone from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. was not an option with having an infant at home. It made a priority for us to be home with our family. So after roughly the third year, we kind of figured out our passion and our drive. So the services that we offer now is kind of what keeps us fueled.
Well, I think that's a really important thing that you said there was like, what do I actually want to do? Because there's an infinite number of things we can do. I know Megan and I, we kind of like, we're looking for ways to how we can grow the business and what we could do. And we really looked at like trying to do poop scooping for a lot, like our business. We're like, oh yeah, this will be great. This is what we can do. Because everybody poops. Like I've read the book, like I did my market research, boom, like done. So this is sure to be good. And just as we got more involved in it, it was like, I don't like this at all. Like, not that it's just like, oh, there's just poop all the time. It's like, this isn't what I wake up in the morning excited to do. And so it could have made money and grown in that capacity. But because it wasn't something that we were passionate about, we just had to say, I don't want to do that because I know I'm not going to do it with excellence and it's not what fits us. And I think that that's a trap that we fall into a lot as business owners of going, well, it's something I can make money off of, so I could offer it or I should do that, instead of realizing, what do I actually want to be doing with my time?
So ironically, we actually looked into that service as well.
Okay.
And we just started hiring employees during then and stuff. And they're like, I don't want to do this. But at the same time, there was a lot of red tape that we had to go through to even offer that service. And I was like, yeah, no, I don't want to go through that headache.
Well, so, I mean, when you two sit down to discuss those kind of things, what's that like as far as, is this a good fit? Is this not? How do you have that conversation about the way, the direction the business needs to go?
We can kind of look at that. I mean, sometimes too, like the customers will let you know too, and also the numbers kind of are obvious. So when it comes to like the nail trimming, it was kind of obvious that we had a few here and there, but it wasn't like really taking off like we wanted. So that was kind of an obvious, like, okay, there a lot of our clients are already going someplace to do that, and that seemed like it just wasn't as popular as what we thought it would be. Yeah. So there's some obvious things like that. But when it comes to who has the final say, Mikayla is technically the owner, so it is Mikayla that has the final say in it.
Yeah, but I also look towards Aaron because he has that business marketing side. So I always look for his 2 cents, even if I don't agree with it. And stuff. But like you said, like I do have the final say because in reality, it is my business. I'm the one that runs it and stuff. So he understands that, and that's our mutual agreement and understanding and respect for each other. Just like his photography side of the business, he has the last say on that. I don't. But I can give him my 2 cents and what I think he should do and stuff. So it's kind of a good balance for each other.
That is one thing I guess we forgot to mention. So, like, I am owner of Aaron's Photography, which is my own photography business. So we work together and collaborate on different events. Like, for example, this last weekend we were at the Salina Veterinary Hospital. They had an open house, and so she had her booth with Adventures in Pet Sitting, and then I also had a photo booth where I was taking photos of people and their pets, and so we kind of worked together with both of our businesses sometimes in that situation.
Yeah. It's a nice little crossover and complementary in instance that you have a lot together. Because that was actually something that we had looked into trying to offer as well. We'll do pet photography. Cool. We can offer pet photography. And then it was going, oh man, how do we train somebody with this? Who's providing the camera? Like, are we actually going to be going this long term? Is this something the market wants? So that at the end we went, no, that we don't need to, we can't offer this. We can't go down this road because it's just, again, not where a passion is and not where we see signs of growth or good synergy with our business, who we actually are. I mean, when you guys are putting those things together, like, so your services that you offer, what's it like for you to train your employees on that consistency? Because when we look at services that we offer, we want to make sure that whatever we offer is really good all the time. As you've built your team, how have you maintained that for what you're offering?
Yeah, so we have a pretty rigid hiring process, and it all starts when they first apply. And there's a bunch of questions that we ask, so that we know right away if they answer the wrong question, if they don't have a driver's license, they automatically get kicked out. And so it kind of is like it's very line. We've got it streamed now to where they can start filling in, and we'll know right away whether it's a good applicant or not. And from there, throughout the entire interview process, we get to really know the applicant. We don't just hire somebody off the street. And so it's really about making those connections with our staff. That's really, really important as far as when it comes to making sure that we have standards. And we do have, once they do get hired on, there's, an onboarding process that we have. They get 2 different certifications. So they do take classes. So before they even start, we make sure that they're certified, and we do spend time with them on several of the first visits as they get to work with our clients and their pets.
Have you heard of Time to Pet? Dan from NYC Pooch has this to say.
Time to Pet has been a total game changer for us. It's helped us streamline many aspects of our operation, from scheduling and communication to billing and customer management. We actually tested other pet sitting softwares in the past, but these other solutions were clunky and riddled with problems. Everything in Time to Pet has been so well thought out. It's intuitive, feature-rich, and it's always improving.
If you're looking for new pet sitting software, give Time to Pet a try. Listeners of our show will save 50% off your first 3 months by visiting timetopet.com/confessional. That hands-on is really important, right? So when you talk about being certified, is that a course that you have put together? Is that something that you've gone outside to source and bring in? What's that process like?
So that is one that we have outsourced to Pet Team Pro. So they do the pet certification for pet care as well as pet CPR. And then our county offers a disaster relief training online, and it's hilarious, but it's through Florida.
Huh. Okay.
And stuff. So anyone who goes through the hiring process and joins our adventure team has a chance of being triple certified.
Mm.
And we're the only ones in Saline County that are actually triple certified.
Wow.
So it's pet CPR and pet safety and then emergency management.
Wow. Why was that important? Because that's not, I'm just going to say this, that's not common to have people certified in. Why was that important for you all to have?
I can tell you why that's important. It's because we live in Kansas. Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't know if there's going to be a tornado or if there's going to be 12 inches of snow. And so our priority is that pet. So we have to know in any situation what the protocols and what we're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's good as well, because in those situations, we have a lot of clients that actually travel overseas and stuff. So, for example, this January, we had a huge blizzard to where I'm only 5'2", and the snow drifts were going past my hip.
Mm.
And so I'm almost chest deep in snow trying to get to clients' houses and stuff. If it was a situation to where we had to go to a disaster plan, to where we had to go to take the client's pets to a place to stay warm and safe, my team would know what to do and how to handle that situation, rather than blowing up our phones and be like, okay, what do we do? Do we need to do anything? They know exactly what to do in those situations, because safety is always a priority for us. And so having those background training sessions was a very important part of when we decided to switch over to employees and build our employee culture.
Well, and you mentioned a very key aspect that I think a lot of people who bring on teams want, right? You mentioned, well, they'll know what to do so they're not blowing up my phones. And so, I mean, it sounds like you're building these, with the training, also with the competency, with the comfortable, nature in these different situations. It means that they're able to act and respond consistently across all of them without having to check in with you. And I'm sure they still have to alert you if something's going on or if they have to change certain things. But it's that questions of, what do I do? What do I do? That a lot of people with teams go, why just do the thing, right? It's easy to get frustrated in that moment when they haven't provided the correct training or structure for them to operate in.
Very true. And that whole concept is still changing and improving every month for us. I mean, as everybody know, like AI is becoming a huge thing now, especially in the pet sitting industry. And so we've incorporated that into our business. So we use AI sometimes to make our service reports more fluent, so they can't quite tell that it's somebody else doing their service compared to me.
Yeah.
And stuff. And that gives a peace of mind to our clients and stuff, that it's a detailed report and stuff, instead of, oh, they went outside and went potty, we played fetch for 5 seconds, and now they're inside enjoying a snack. As well as we're incorporating like a bot to where if they have a question, like, oh, hey, the keypad's not working. What do I need to do?
Mm.
And so they can ask the bot and it answers their question instead of trying to go through the handbook to find that answer to the question. It's a very quick reference. Or like before, you would have to be blowing up the lead adventurer or me of, okay, what do I do now?
Right.
So we've been really incorporating those new changes and stuff into our employee culture.
What are, if you don't mind me asking, what are you using for that? Is that a custom built thing, or is that a ChatGPT thing that you're having access to for the team?
So the service report is ChatGPT. Our bot isn't quite up and running just yet, but that is a process that I'm working with our business coach with. She's helping me kind of build that up. And it kind of goes through ChatGPT too, but it can also go through Magi as well.
Sure.
But she has a way of interfacing it with everybody. So it's really nice.
Yeah.
Every single client we have has a description and, has a detailed, what type of food, how much, or two different ways. We always have two different ways to get in the house in case one way doesn't work. So it's a lot of the time it's just going back to those references to those from the client.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that is consistently a problem where we want all this detail, and then we have to find ways to surface that and make it easily accessible for the team so they're not having to hunt and peck in 5 different areas of, well, did you read the private note? Did you read the home notes? Did you read the pet profile? Did you watch the walkthrough video? Did you all of a sudden it's like, it can be too much, too overwhelming. And then we've got to figure out, how do I streamline this so that my team have exactly what they need, but also know where to go in case it gets a little bit too complicated or something comes up unexpected.
Yep. And that's why I'm looking forward to our bot being up and running, hopefully by next year. So it's a quick and easy reference instead of trying to scan through our adventure system with the client's information to try to find what they need and stuff. So
yeah, or like you said, oh man, look, my training manual, it's 180 pages long. Isn't this wonderful? It's like, nobody reads that. Nobody's going to be sitting there going, oh, I can't get the garage door open. Flip, or scroll. Nobody's doing that. So being able to have that information is really nice.
Yeah, you just throw in, how do you open the garage door when it's not working on the bot, and it just pops it. Have you tried A, B, C, D?
Yeah.
And if none of that works, then let's go to E, and that's contacting us.
And I think every pet sitter has been through that situation where you're like trying to, for some reason, the lock is stuck, and so you're just trying to scroll through and trying to find that second way to get in.
Yeah. Yep. And when you're a team member and you're an employee, it's like, well, I could scroll through 180 pages, or let me just jump in Slack real quick and ask the boss or ask the team lead, because that's going to cut my time down and it's going to make my life easier. And that's, we understand, hey, we need to get this solved. We get it solved now. So what can we do to free up either my time or my team lead's time so they can be working on other stuff instead of answering these kind of not necessarily common questions, but stuff that we go, I have this written down already. Like here's just an easier way to access it.
Yep.
Yeah. Anymore, our clients, most of our clients have cameras, so it's almost embarrassing when you're sitting there on their porch and like the camera's on you and you're trying to struggle to get in that.
Yep, you're just sitting there watching, and like I'll have conversations with the cameras, being like, "Hey, just so you know, I'm working on this right now. Anyway, hope your day's going well. We'll get this figured out in a minute."
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, or they're watching you try to go through the doggy door to get into the house.
Yep.
That was interesting.
We actually did have a garage door fail, and the client had put out the lockbox before they had left, but had failed to put the key in it whenever they had left. So our second mode of entry was kind of not, the lockbox worked beautifully, just no key. So I remember like the spring on the garage door had failed. And so I'm having to lift it up a little bit, wedge a brick under, lift it up a little bit, wedge a brick under, so that I could like scurry underneath. And yeah, it was all on camera, and all the neighbors were kind of watching. And I'm just like, I'm a professional. All is fine. Right? Go about your day.
Yep. I've actually had a similar situation occur, and I was 8 months pregnant trying to squeeze myself through a doggy door to reach the lock in the back to unlock the door to get in. And so it was a doggy door they didn't use at all, but it was just there and stuff. Their dog couldn't get to it anyways because there was another door from that entry and stuff. So that was fun.
Yeah. I'm sure that was great to report on later, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. They called and they're like, is everything okay? Like, we saw this going on. I'm like, yeah, we're good. I just got locked out.
Right.
And of course, it was a rental and stuff. And they're like, oh, yeah, our landlord was supposed to fix that key and they did it before they left type situation, which, I mean, life happens.
Yeah.
And stuff. And we just find a way to get the job done.
Now, you mentioned you've been growing a team. Is it a fully team-based model, or is it a one-for-one model? How do you have that structured?
So I've been trying to phase myself out of the field a little bit. So more focusing on employees and having the team work in the field. So I want to say it's more of a team-based model.
And we've had, I mean, it really ranges anywhere from, 2, 3. We've had up to like 6 hires that have been working. They're all part-time.
Yeah. How do you go about making sure that from visit to visit things stay consistent? Because I know that's a big thing of, okay, I'm going to have a team, I'm going to have multiple people in this home. Like, what's that like, making sure that you're setting your team up for success so that no matter who walks in, they're able to perform and do well?
So, I mean, it's been a struggle, but I think we've kind of found our flow a little bit. I mean,
it really starts with that meet and greet session, because we don't have any of them do anything unless they've done a meet and greet with us and the client.
Yeah.
Well, and if they don't do the meet and greet with the client for the original meeting, for safety reasons, they do have to go through a review with me or our lead assistant before they are left on their own. Like I said, safety is a huge thing for us. So introducing somebody new to some pets is never a good idea. Just because they're either, protective of the territory or stranger danger concept and stuff for some animals. So it's a lot easier to just do a review with that person so they know where everything's at, even though it's on the system. The pets are familiar with you, and then they get familiar with them, and they feel calm and safe. And that's what's important to us.
You mentioned a couple times now safety being really important to you. Where does that come from? Did you have an incident early on, or is this kind of how both of you are wired to just make sure that all those things are taken care of?
It's always been one of our main priorities is safety for both the pet and ourselves and our employees. We strive, and we're pretty proud that we've never had any major accidents happen. And we've celebrated this last summer. We celebrated our 7th anniversary of the business, so we're pretty excited because. I had a coworker friend of mine. She pets that just, for fun or just to help out a neighbor. And she came to work and had this huge injury on the back of her leg. And it was because the dog had bit her.
Mm.
And the neighbor didn't really tell her that the dog might be a little aggressive. So for reasons like that, we always think of safety when dealing with animals, no matter what pet is, because you got to keep in mind we do farm animals. So we've done we do chickens, ducks, we've done horses. I mean, any hoof stock. We've done goats, a lot of different farm animals.
Red-tailed hawks, green tree frogs. We do almost all types of animals. So, and like most people should know, even the calmest animal can be dangerous. And that's why we take safety so seriously. Because, I mean, I worked in an environment where it wasn't safe for me to work with the animals by myself. You had 20 plus animals to take care of on your own, on top of everything else, and that's not safe.
Ready? Okay, perfect. I'm good. I'll be back. So they know. So yeah.
See you later.
I'll be back.
So that's why when I created this business, I wanted to make sure that safety was on the top priority and stuff. So I just didn't want to take that chance. I mean, even then, there's always those chances of having close calls. From the 7 years, I've had 2 close calls of being bit or attacked by an animal, even the calmest animal, because you wore sunglasses and you forgot to take them off because they didn't see your eyes. So
yeah. Well, and
that's why I've always made it a top priority. Knowledge is what protects us.
It really is, and I think, I don't know, there are times where I can still start to go, man, are we going overboard on this? Like, is this too much? Am I being a stick in the mud about this situation? I don't know if you've ever had those thoughts, Mikayla, but I know I have, and Megan and I have talked about that, and we keep coming back to, I'm not being a stick in the mud. I'm upholding high standards, and we're not willing to waver from upholding those standards that we know are beneficial to us and the safety of everybody involved.
That is true. I mean, there's been a few times where Aaron's even like, you probably need to lay back a little bit. And I'm like, no. Like, he's been in those situations growing up with cattle and pigs and stuff. It's like, you have to be on your A game almost all the time with animals because they're unpredictable.
Yeah.
I mean, humans can be too, but I mean, just like us, animals have bad days too. And most of the time, the ways they communicate is to bite, scratch, attack, and stuff. So being able to read their movements and how they're acting, because that's their language, is what keeps us safe.
Yeah. It is, and it becomes even more important as we add employees, as we bring on brand new clients. It just all compounds on top of one another. And I know you offer like same day cancellations for certain services, and like you seem pretty flexible with your services and when people can book and cancel them. How has that been, offering those?
That's been a trial and error, actually.
Okay, yeah, okay.
I mean, I still try to be flexible, even though I have those in place, because I know life happens. I mean, there are some things that you can't control and stuff, but at the same time, I have to have those boundaries and balances and stuff. So there's times where, like, a regular client that I have weekly, or for instance, I have this client that I have, they're overseas right now. I've had them since the beginning of me starting, and I give them a little bit more leniency sometimes because I know they're good for a payment or a booking later on or whatnot, compared to a new client who's used us a couple of times and they're always flaky on payments or always asking for last minute requests and stuff. So I try to be lenient but fair at the same time to both my clients and my business.
You can't automate compassion, but you can make it easier to deliver. Pet Perennials is built just for that. Their sympathy and milestone gifts are designed for grieving pet parents, and they take care of the fulfillment from start to finish so nothing falls through the cracks. For busy pet business owners, it's a simple system to scale kindness, nurture long-term client loyalty, and respond meaningfully in those difficult moments. Sign up for their free Gift Perks business account to receive discounted pricing with zero fees or minimums. Learn more at petperennials.com. Yeah, you really do have to make sure that it is fair too, right? Like, I think that that's important, but also, like you said, when you have that trusted relationship with a particular client, it makes it easier to maybe flex those rules one time versus another. Like you said, if you have a client who's been with you for 5, 6, 7 years going, well, they've always paid on time, or this isn't a habit of theirs. They canceled last minute. It must have been really serious. And you do that, and then you kind of watch, and because we don't want bad habits to form with clients, and we have to have policies and procedures to protect our business, to protect our income, to protect our employees as well. But it is I definitely view it, and I know Meg and I do too, like kind of a case by case basis of here is the general rule, and then we do decide when exceptions are made and why they are made when we need to make them.
Yeah, and I have it stated in our terms and conditions, like any call that is made, especially when it comes to late fee payment, cancellation fee type stuff, it states that it is the owner's responsibility to make that call if something changes.
Yeah. And then knowing, okay, and there are times I know when we are upholding our policies where I don't know, we have all these things in place, and there are still times where I'm like, oh, I don't want to have to enforce this, but because the client chose to do XYZ, I have to do this so that I'm consistent and it's applied fairly to everybody. And I don't ever like being in those situations. And the same thing with employees too, of like, I don't want to have to write you up for this, but you broke this policy. And so I have to go through this process and explain it to you. And those are the decisions sometimes that we just have to do. We have to do certain actions because we said we would. And then if we don't, it's like, well, what's the point of having them in the first place?
Very true. I think that's part of something that people don't think about when they decide to start a business, either it be small or big or whatever. They don't think about, okay, if I have an employee, if I'm growing and stuff, like if there's a consequence, how do I handle it? Can I handle it? Aaron's the type of person, he hates confrontation. And so he might not lay down the law, in a lack of a better way of saying it, when needed. As for me, I also hate confrontation, but I am also one that will be, okay, you did this, that wasn't correct, so I have to do this.
Yeah.
And what did we learn?
Yeah.
And stuff. I don't like having those conversations. I don't, but at the same time, I know I have to. And stuff where Aaron will have those conversations, but he will avoid it if he can.
It is so hard. And I've even had to sit down with some of our employees or even with a client and gone, I didn't want to have this conversation today. And I just want you to know I'm not happy to be here. And I'm not happy. It's not because I'm angry that you did this thing. I'm angry that I'm having this conversation right now. And it ends up being like, but when I do that, everybody understands like the importance of it. And I've built a little bit of extra muscle in actually following through with my policies.
Yep. I've actually just recently had that conversation with the client and stuff. It was kind of one of those, it wasn't unusual for them, and then it became a usual thing, a routine.
Yeah.
And so I had to sit down and have that conversation which then it in turn turned into, oh, well, this life thing happened and this life thing happened, and I'm trying to play catch up and stuff. I'm like, oh, well, I'm the type of person, if you tell me, like, you don't have to go into detail or anything, but if you communicate with me, I will do my best to work with you.
Yeah.
And stuff. And she goes, oh, so having that conversation, we were able to figure out a plan to get her caught up so that we didn't have to terminate her as a client because of something that was kind of out of her hands that occurred.
And then again, then that builds hopefully some mutual respect and trust between you and the client of how things were handled. And it also keeps to your professionalism of, I have standards, I uphold them. We have policies, we uphold them. We do flex them as needed and on a case by case basis. However, we are the kind of people who are going to uphold what we said we were going to do. And we've had to do that several times. And ultimately, it's always, in our cases, garnered more respect from the client and ended up turning out pretty well for us in the end.
Yeah, we've been the same way. I think we might have had maybe one or two where we had to go separate ways. But I mean, that's just part of the business too. You're not going to be the flavor for everybody and vice versa. Like, I mean, we talk about that in this pet sitting industry of not everyone is going to be your client.
Mm.
And you have the right to kind of pick and choose who fits into your client profile.
You know, and then you're able to, that changes over time. I know when we first started, we definitely refined our client profile. I mean, what's that process been like for you both as you've started your business and grown and expanded? I mean, how have you decided or found who your ideal client is?
I think it changes. I mean, through the years and stuff, it's changed quite a bit. And also finding our boundaries. And I'm really hard to say no to people. I'm always kind of like, well, let's give them a chance and see how it goes. And now having a family and having a team and wanting to be there for the kids now that they're older and in things and stuff, it's like, okay, who are the clients that I want that can fit what we need?
Mm.
And that I shouldn't have to say no to because it's planned ahead in a sense. Like, do I want the client that's consistently last minute booking? For example, I had a client like that where they were literally on the road and, oh, hey, we forgot to book you. You got the pets this weekend, right?
Mm.
Compared to a client who books us 2 years in advance because they're going on a cruise. So they have it all planned out minus perhaps when they're leaving and returning.
Mm.
And stuff. Like, who would be our ideal client there? And so we've kind of figured out in that aspect, like, we prefer those that kind of plan ahead and get things done. But at the same time, we know things happen. So having kind of an emergency type client to where, you know, a family member passed away and they have to leave unexpectedly. That's why we kind of call ourselves on-call animal assistants, because the schedule changes in a blink of an eye in that instance. You might have the day off and then it's like, oh, well, we have an emergency call. You're booked.
Yeah.
And stuff. So it's definitely changed throughout the 7 years. And I still struggle with the no word. But I'm realizing that I do have to say no sometimes, like being fully booked on the holidays. no, I'm sorry, we can't squeeze you in, even though I really enjoy your pets. Like
Yeah.
it can be a hard balance sometimes.
It can, and it doesn't. I like a lot of people think it gets easier, but in some cases it doesn't, because I start thinking of, oh, but the possibility, right? Like, oh, the potential, or what happens if? And as you become more known in an area, more people reach out to you in those circumstances, because you are the reliable, the dependable, the professional, and they go, "Oop, I'm in a pinch. I know who to go to." And it's like, "Ooh, 2 weeks ago, I could have taken you on, but I can't." And it still gets hard. It's hard. I don't know. It's never easy.
It's not.
Yeah.
And so, because I'm a people pleaser, so I want to be able to please everybody and help everybody in their time of need and stuff. When there's times where it's like, I can't, I need help myself.
Yeah.
And that's why we do networking, and we've focused hard the last few years to network, so that way we have other options. If we're unavailable, and we say, "Oh, okay, well, go to this land animal hospital. They have some openings, or try this or that," and it makes it nice when you have another option that you can give them, instead of just flat out saying, no.
Right. Well, you guys operate in a more rural part of Kansas, right? What are some challenges that you've faced growing an in-home pet care service business in your area, in your market?
I mean, like I mentioned, like we're the only ones that cares for all types of animals. So really showcasing that we can care for like the farm animals has been a bit of a challenge, because farmers and ranchers, even ones that have small livestock where they don't have hands helping them, they don't realize that we're even here, no matter how much we market and word of mouth. And so it's been kind of difficult to reach those types of people, because that's one service that we want to try to increase in the next few years, is to really showcase that we do take farm animals. Like, it's just not dogs and cats. Like, we've done aquatics, reptiles, pocket pets. We do a little bit of everything.
And we have had several community members and farmers or ranchers, and they say, "Well, I wish I would have known you sooner, because I haven't had a vacation in 10 years, or whatever." So it is rewarding to hear some of those comments from our clients.
No. Do you feel like it's a general just lack of awareness of that it's possible to look for this kind of thing, or they're not sure of the service and how it works? Where do you think that barrier is for people in coming into your business?
I think it's a combination. I mean, we're starting to work with our Salina animal shelter. They just changed directors and stuff, so they're actually welcoming us in as a networking opportunity. And so we're hoping that through them, we will be able to give that resource, like a whole resource list of, what groomers, vets, animal services, and stuff that are offered in our area. Because a lot of people don't know or know where to look to find those resources. I mean, you can Google, but then that doesn't always emphasize, oh, they have 5 stars, but they have bad reviews, or, like a lot of people rely more on what people say that they know and trust. Like, oh yeah, my cousin told me about you and she had nothing but good things to say. They would trust that person over what a review would say about a business. And so networking with other community people, veterinarians, groomers, like I said, the animal shelter, I think is really going to help get the word of mouth out. Because, for example, the veterinarian that we network with, she just endorsed us a couple months ago, and she works with farm animals. So that will definitely help us increase that side of our business, because one, she has farm animals herself, but she's also working with farm animals, so she can give them our information and stuff of who to call when they need something.
Yeah, I know a lot of people tend to rely only on Google listing, Facebook, and they just immediately assume, well, people will search for what they want or what they need. And that we definitely not. We don't see that. We have two different service areas, and they're 2 hours apart from one another. One's really rural; it's a town of 21,000 people, and we don't really serve much outside of that. Another one, it's 300, 400,000 people, kind of in a particular area, and how we acquire clients in those is very, very different. But one thing remains the same, is that if you can get a word of mouth referral from somebody who they already know, like, or trust, it's way more powerful. And sometimes it just comes up in conversations. They're not going to Google saying, I'm traveling in 3 weeks and I don't know what to do with my dog. But they are saying that phrase to their friends or family members, to their groomer, to their trainer. And the person, if they know of you, knows how to respond. And so it's just a very different way your problem sets bubble up. And that's why that kind of networking is still so powerful and way more relevant than ever these days, especially, as we already mentioned, with the onslaught of AI and how we are found that way too.
Most definitely. And I think with especially small businesses in general, word of mouth is what grows you or destroys you. And I know that is what had our business take off tremendously, was just word of mouth. Because before then, it's like we didn't have a Google listing. We didn't have a website. We might have had a Facebook page. But other than that, like, our marketing was guerrilla marketing in a sense, putting flyers up throughout downtown Salina and feed markets and stuff like that, and just letting our family and friends know that we're offering this service and to share it and stuff. Compared to now, 7 years later, we're marketing on Facebook, on Google. We have reels going on Instagram, and sending newsletters out to our clients every month and stuff. Like, it's changed tremendously. But even then, the most constant thing is word of mouth.
Well, so where are you guys excited to be headed to in the next year or moving in the future with your business?
I am definitely excited to increase more of our employee culture. That's been kind of one of our bigger focuses. We want to make sure we grow our team more and be able to have that flexibility for everybody, and just be able to have fun and have passion on what we do and share that culture. And we're also introducing being part of the community more. So we're going into classrooms and doing bite prevention to like preschoolers and kindergartners. We're working with Salina Regional Hospital to showcase the benefits that we offer for their employees here in the next month or so. So really trying to emphasize what we can offer to our community as either clients or employees.
I mean, we just want to continue growing like we have mainly. And we have some different ideas that we want to try to keep growing and keep helping our community with their pets.
Very good. Well, that sounds like a lot of exciting things that you both are working on. I want to thank you both for coming on today, sharing your story, sharing how you are serving your community, and you're solving problems for people and making sure that you're building a strong team along the way who's prepared for whatever gets thrown at them. I know that there's a lot here, and you guys are doing a lot and changing a lot all through this. So for those who are listening and want to get connected, pick your brain, follow along with all the cool stuff that you're doing, how best can they do that?
Best way is, you can reach out to Mikayla or I. You can follow us on our social media at Adventures in Pet Sitting, or you can go to our website at petsittingadventures.com.
Well, I will have links in the show notes and on our website so people can click right to that and follow along. Mikayla, Aaron, thank you both for coming on the show today. It means a lot, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Adventure awaits.
As business owners, we are constantly trying to understand where our liabilities lie. And do we have the protection and coverage if something goes wrong? One of those key aspects as a business owner, not just for yourself, but for every level in your team, is knowledge. I love when Mikayla said, knowledge is what protects us. It protects you from being scammed out of an internet whatever happens or a weird phone call. It's what protects you in those moments with that dog or that cat who's showing signs of aggression. It's what protects you from those clients trying to pull one over on you. It protects your business in the hard times. It protects it in the good times. It protects you personally by having the right coverages, the right insurance, the right legal framework for your business. Knowledge is what protects us. As soon as we stop the pursuit of knowledge and then implementing it into our business and our life, we open ourselves up to a whole array of issues. We want to thank today's sponsors, Time to Pet, and our friends at Pet Perennials for making the show possible. And we really want to thank you so much for listening. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll be back again soon.